Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today I wanted to talk about what people are looking for from an employer today. Awesome topic. So many people are talking about these things at the moment. So I distilled all of my conversations from loads and loads of people I've had over the past 12 months, let's say. Spoken to employers, employees, bunch of polls on LinkedIn, all of that stuff. Just start to think about what are the top things that people want from an employer to get today, and then just think about the best companies and what are they doing that gets it right. Why do people want to stay? How are they attracting top talent? Why are people staying? Why is their retention high? How are they helping employees thrive? And I think the ones that are getting that right are way above. Many are getting it right and many are getting it wrong. And so it's a tough moment if you're not quite got it right. And so hopefully this will help. And so there's obviously been a lot going on, right? And the dust has started to settle. Things have started to crystallize. There's certainly no going back, only forward. A lot of people are like, oh, will it go back to how it was? Will offices get back to what they were before? Will city centres get back to how they were before? No, only forward now, and it presents a fantastic opportunity to now create these new workspaces, these new workplaces, cultures, ways of working, all of that stuff. So this is my little list of top things that people are looking for, in no particular order, although I think number one's probably sets the tone for the rest. People want to work in a place that has great leadership, a great leader, a great leadership team, but a leadership team, leaders that make them feel recognized, create the right environment for them to be the best people that they can, to really thrive. And, those that are getting it right are really winning. When you're looking for a new employer and you go for an interview process, ask the person how they treated their employees over the pandemic, and see what they say. Ask them if they mind you taking your kid to the football on a Friday afternoon, and checking out early. Little things that kind of get a sense of where people are at. You want someone to mentor you, train you, develop you, take an interest in you. You want these leaders to be thinking about how they can serve you and their team versus what you can do for them. That's the kind of a profile of a leader that's emerging now. They're the kind of people that people want to work with, for, on the same team as, stuff like that. And so, really thoughtful way of doing it. And number one thing that sets the tone for the others, and the others are super important. Number two, great culture. People talk about this constantly, and this is a huge discussion point. Culture, what does a great culture look like? How can you create one? Clearly, hybrid remote work is a really big thing with a bunch of components that go into making a great culture. Whole other podcast or series of podcasts. But a few things to think about, this hybrid remote work scenario. As an employer, think where you stand on it. Have you even arrived at, what it might look like? Go bespoke. The other thing to note is that different things work for different people. People are really starting to think about that. So make the experience fantastic for people. The work experience. If they come and work for your company, what are they going to do day to day? Is the tech awesome? Can they choose how and where they work? What's your workspace look like? How have you, what does office life look like now? Are they coming in? Are they not? If they're not, and it's remote, what's the experience like? Are they loving it? Are they really enjoying it? Or, if you speak to a young person who's been in the job for a couple of years, started over COVID, are they going to be like, yeah, this is the place I was made? This is I've learned loads. They valued me. They've taken care of me. They've recognized and appreciated me, which is the other thing. And they've fostered the connections, people, humans, we want connection. And this is also always a big conversation about, people need to get back into the office because we want human connection, which absolutely true. But if someone's remote, or someone's hybrid, are you making sure that you're fostering those connections? So really important. And again, culture, so important. And the ones that get it right and are thoughtful about it will win. People will be attracted to work there. People who are there will want to stay, and it's great. Third one for me is purpose. People want to feel that they are contributing in some way, over and above just creating profit. How does their job, how is it connected to the overall purpose and mission of the company? So companies need to be thoughtful about, communicating their mission, communicating how individuals fit in to delivering that mission. And people want to have an impact, they want to have a social impact. They want to feel they're doing good for society, not just delivering great profits for the shareholders. So again, really key thing. Number 4 for me is an opportunity to do great things. Like, people want to do really cool stuff, so company need to provide the platform and the opportunity for people to go and do great things, learning, growing, contributing. It needs to be thoughtful. I do talk a lot about people needing to take ownership of their own career and their own training and their own development, and 100% like the way forward for individual. And for a company, you can do some really cool stuff to make people be like, oh wow, I'm learning, I'm developing. You look back, over this past year, what have I learned? What are the opportunities that my company have provided for me? Really, really interesting stuff. Number 5 for me is feeling valued. People want to feel appreciated. They want recognition from their line managers, from their team members, whoever it might be. But make sure that you are valuing people. You're telling them that you appreciate them. Even a little message, like, hey, I really appreciate your work today. Thank you so much. Because if people are at home, hybrid, remote, you're not seeing people a lot, people just want a little tap of the shoulder and a little bit of recognition, and just like, thank you so much for all of your hard work. I really appreciate it. Thanks for going above and beyond. Thanks for working the million hours in a day that you're working. I really appreciate it. So say thanks to people. A little bit of thanks goes a long way. A link to that, with the hybrid and the remote, a lot of people are saying that they've been burning out a lot, and so well-being is super important, right? Like, people are starting to reimagine and realizing that, why am I living to work? Like, it needs to be more holistic. I need to have a bit more balance, and people now are thinking much more about their well-being. Still about working super hard, being successful, putting the work that's required into the job to do really well. But there's other pieces of the pie as well. We're working for a long time. It's corny, but it's a marathon, not a sprint. And it's really true. You want to have a really good, long, sustained, successful career. And to do that, you need to look after yourself mentally, physically, emotionally. If all of those things like connect well, you'll have a good chance of having a really great career. Final one for me is success. Like, people want to work in a winning team. Who doesn't, right? So again, they want to work for a company that's doing well, a team that's doing well. They want to do well themselves. So setting people up for success. Little wins, these small tasks, these small wins add up to big wins. And it's thinking about, like, do the goal setting, make sure you're having little wins and get people feeling like that they're in a winning team. And, you can see it in sport, it's such a great analogy, the great culture, the great leadership, the great captains, people knowing exactly what their role is in a team, what the purpose is. They're all fighting for the same thing, and then they have success. And then you see other examples where it's not quite right, things haven't gone so well, leadership's not right, don't quite know what they're up to, losses, morale goes down, and the story all too well. So they're my top ones, and that's from many conversations with people this past 12 months, speaking to senior leaders, board members, employees, all of that stuff. So really interesting. Do think about it if you're hiring. Think about these things and make sure you communicate them in the right way. And if you're looking for a role, take a moment, think about what questions you're going to ask your potential employer to give yourself a little sense check as to whether or not it's going to be the right environment for you. Hope you enjoyed it. Whether you're watching on LinkedIn Live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, thank you so much. Don't forget to drop some comments, share, and have a great one.